This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Today's video is brought to you by Emmy Instant Ramen. Listen, every once in a while, I do a story. It doesn't happen all the time, but a story that I believe is so important, but I also believe isn't going to get the coverage that it deserves, and that is what this story is. So I'm going to tell you, one, to read the entirety of the article from which I'm going to read right now, which is from Politico. And also to share this video with your social network. If you have people who are engaged in politics, share this with them. If you have people in your life who have a tertiary interest in politics, share this with them. If you have people who you believe are on the cusp of being interested in the destruction of our democracy, share this video with them. Blast this on social media. Send this to your elected representative. Because absolutely this story needs to be covered. And my instinct is it's not going to get the wide-ranging network TV coverage that it deserves. Because as I've been screaming about for over a year now, the impending demolition of our very democracy is in the works. And this is more evidence of that. The fact that there is a concerted effort underway, a conspiracy, if you will, criminal conspiracy to sow chaos and discord and destruction of our system of democracy. I'm going to read from this Politico article. I'll give you the headline first. It's going to be an army. Tapes reveal, there's audio here, tapes reveal GOP plan to contest elections, placing operatives as poll workers and building a hotline to friendly attorneys are among the strategies to be deployed in Michigan and other swing states. Now, there's a lot there in just the title of the article, but in other swing states. They're not putting up a vast infrastructure of election integrity in Texas or places where Republicans traditionally win. It's in swing states and also municipalities where there's a higher percentage of black voters. Pay attention. This is happening right under our nose. And if we rest on our hands, if we do the old Merrick Garland routine where we're hiding under our desks rather than fighting for the political future of our country, we're going to lose. Before I get to all of this, stick around. A word from today's sponsor, Emmy Instant Ramen Noodles. As many of you are probably well aware, because you see me when I'm doing my videos, I love to eat. I am constantly looking for new recipes to try at home and new flavors to incorporate. And though I do love to cook when time allows, during the day I'm often on the run and looking for a quick bite. And eating in a hurry too often means eating poorly. But just because junk mail fills up your day doesn't mean you have to eat junk food. My latest quality quick meal, Emmy Ramen Noodles. What's easier than ramen? Unlike the overly salty, low-quality ramen that you're probably used to whipping up at home, Emmy is good, and it's good for you. Emmy is a 100% plant-based, low-carb ramen that is lower in sodium, but higher in deliciousness. It's time for you to experience a tastier and healthier ramen. Go to emmyeats.com/Dollemore for $5 off your order. You can have your ramen and eat it too. I love their spicy beef flavor, but their tom yum shrimp and their black garlic chicken are also super fantastic. The fact that all the flavors are 100% plant-based and dairy-free makes me feel all the better about my meal. And speaking of 100%, Emmy offers a 100% happiness guarantee. So you can try it risk-free. If you don't feel their ramen is worth it, Emmy will offer you a full refund within 30 days of your purchase. Refresh your ramen regimen with Emmy. Head to emmyeats.com/Dollemore or just click the link in the description below and use code Dollemore to get $5 off your first order and know that you're supporting this channel. All right, let's get into this article. One more time, the title. From Politico. Intrepid reporting. Listen, Politico doesn't always do a good job. Politico oftentimes fumbles and bumbles. Just like any journalistic outfit, I think. This is good reporting. This is a story that needs to be talked about. From Politico. It's going to be an army, tapes reveal, GOP plan to contest elections, placing operatives as poll workers, and building a hotline to friendly attorneys are among the strategies to be deployed in Michigan and other swing states. Video recordings of Republican Party operatives meeting with grassroots activists provide an inside look at a multi-pronged strategy to target and potentially overturn votes in Democratic precincts. Install trained recruits as regular poll workers and put them in direct contact with party attorneys. You see, in America, poll workers are volunteers. They're people who have a passion for democracy and the counting of every vote. Making sure whatever your party affiliation, you have your opportunity to exercise your right as an American to vote in our democracy, in our elections. These volunteers are going to be replaced by party activists who are there to challenge votes, to ensure that not every vote is counted. And they're putting in place an infrastructure to see that this is accomplished. The plan, as outlined by a Republican National Committee staffer in Michigan, includes utilizing rules designed to provide political balance among poll workers, to install party-trained volunteers prepared to challenge voters at Democratic majority polling places, developing a website to connect those workers to local lawyers, and establishing a network of party-friendly district attorneys who could intervene to block vote counts at certain precincts. This is chaos. This is to sow discord and chaos. This is to create an atmosphere, an environment where not every vote is counted. Not only not every vote is counted, but not every vote is considered equal. If you're black, if you're brown, if you are a Democratic voter, you get challenged. Because I can tell you right now, logic dictates, reason dictates, rationality would tell us that these Republican poll watchers, these volunteers, they're not poll watchers, they're poll volunteers, they would be poll workers, that they would be, no way are they going to be challenging Republican vote. No way are they going to be doing these vote challenges on Republicans. It's only going to be on Democrats. This is a quote from one of them. Quote, "Being a poll worker, you just have so many more rights and things you can do to stop something that as a poll challenger," said Matthew Seyfried, the RNC's election integrity director for Michigan, stressing the importance of obtaining official designations as poll workers in a meeting with GOP activists in Wayne County last November 6th. It is one of a series of recordings of GOP meetings between summer of 2021 and May of this year obtained by Politico. Now, let me tell you this. Good on Politico that the author of these articles, the journalist who penned these articles, isn't waiting to pen a book, to publish a book and talk about this after the fact. They're reporting on it right now, doing their jobs. Backing up those frontline workers, it's going to be an army, Seyfried promised at an October 5th training session. We're going to have more lawyers than we've ever recruited, because let's be honest, that's where it's going to be fought, right? They plan to contest elections and election results even before a single ballot has been counted. They're planning, this is a conspiracy to diminish the efficacy of our democracy. We're getting this. We're seeing the plan months in advance. So when it comes time, remember that you watch this. when it starts happening in real time, these midterms, and especially in the general election in 2024, you've been warned. You've seen the blueprint. You know what's going to happen. Here's the audio. There's dozens of minutes of audio just embedded in this article. I implore you to read this entire article. It will be linked in the description below. But here's just a snippet of audio from this chaos sower from the Republican National Committee.
But seriously, though, that's why we're on the ground, like Rob said, so early, is to address exactly that, right? The Democrats, and I'm just going to go off script and probably not even follow it, so I'm just going to address myself right away. So we are trying to recruit, truly, it's going to be an army, right? We are going to try to recruit lawyers. We're going to have more lawyers than have ever been recruited, because let's be honest, that's where it's going to be fought, right? We're going to have lawyers that work early to build relationships with different judges, so that when that happens, we're going to have lawyers that have relationships with the police chiefs in the different areas, with the police officers in the different areas, so that when that happens, those pre-existing relationships are already established, so that they can't lie, or so that they can. I've talked with so many people that work at the TCF Center, and that I've heard that happens. It happened, right? No one is it happened, and it's wrong that it happened. It's 100% wrong that it happened, and we're going to address it. We're going to address it by having the lawyers on the ground. We're going to address it by trying to have those relationships and to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And the way we do that is also, to your point about not having trainings, right? Like good enough training. That was again because you had an EDO director. Nothing against the previous one. He was doing what his job was with the resources that he had, but he was on the ground 9 months or 90 days before the election. You can't put together the trainings that close to an election. You need somebody on the ground. I'm working right now with a bunch of different lawyers to make sure that we have a very thorough training put in place, specific to the TCF Center. What we want to do is we are going to have the walkthroughs beforehand. We're going to have agreements in place so we know what doors ballots are coming in and out of. We're going to have people staffing those doors. We're going to make sure that we know exactly what has to happen for when ballots are challenged, to make sure that they actually listen to the challenges. So they make sure that they don't continue to keep putting the ballots in the machines. Like, these are things that we are going to have agreements on, and if they violate them, we're taking them to court. We're going to have those relationships with the judges to make sure that it stops right then and there.
You heard it. It's going to be an army. We're going to have more lawyers than we've ever recruited, because let's be honest, that's where it's going to be fought, right? Seafried also said the RNC will hold workshops and equip poll workers with a hotline and website developed by Zendesk, a software support company used by online retailers, which will allow them to live chat with party attorneys on election day. This isn't poll watchers. These are supposed to be nonpartisan volunteers with a passion for democracy, not a passion for challenging every vote that comes that is not from their party. In a May 2022 training session, he said he'd achieved a goal set last winter. Now listen to this number. This should alarm you. More than 5,600 individuals had signed up to be poll workers, and several days ago, he submitted an initial list of more than 850 names to the Detroit clerk. Because again, with surgical precision, they are targeting communities of color, because they know the overwhelming majority of Black Americans vote Democrat, because they're voting their self-interest. They're voting for the betterment of America. Democrat Janice Winfrey, who serves as the clerk, would be bound to pick names from the list submitted by the party under a local law intended to ensure bipartisan representation in an unbiased team of precinct workers. Your key element there being an unbiased team of precinct workers. Unbiased. Not conspiracy-minded and buying into the big lie that is now just ubiquitous, that the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump, for which they have zero evidence. Zero. Over 60 cases summarily dismissed, even by Donald Trump-appointed judges. It's bullshit. Finishing here, separately, Politico obtained Zoom tapings of Tim Griffin, legal counsel to the Amistad Project, a self-described election integrity group that Donald Trump's former lawyer Rudy Giuliani once portrayed as a partner in the Trump campaign's legal effort to overturn the 2020 election. Meeting with activists from multiple states and discussing plans for identifying friendly district attorneys who could stage real-time interventions in local election disputes. They're going deep here, folks. Again, read this article, share this video, share the article, get this information out. We cannot be surprised when it begins to happen. We've seen what their plan is. We are party to an understanding of the conspiracy that is taking place in real time. On the recording, Griffin speaks of building a nationwide network of district attorney allies and how to create a legal trap for Winfrey. They're creating a legal trap by their own admission. Remember, guys, we're trying to build out a nationwide district attorney network. Your local district attorney, as we always say, is more powerful than your congressman, Griffin said during a September 21 meeting. They're the ones that can seat a grand jury. They're the ones that can start an investigation, issue subpoenas, and make sure that records are retained, etc., he said. They are attempting to destroy our democracy and with it our country due to some bizarre cult-like loyalty to Donald Trump and his conspiracy theory that he was robbed of the election. When we've heard him say on tape, all I need is 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have. These are fascists, or at the very least, fascist enablers. And if you love your country, if you cherish democracy, hell, even if you're just fond of it, if you care about having a say about how your country runs and who is governing it, you have to get involved. I'd love to know what you think. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I know this is a little longer than a video that I normally do, but it's just that important. I didn't even read a quarter of this. This article goes on and on and on with far more evidence and recordings and details that need to be talked about. They need to be reported on. While the news, the oxygen is being sucked out of the room by things that are very important in the news cycle right now, these things also need to be addressed. Cable news is a 24/7 news cycle. They can find some time to talk about this, to interview these reporters, to track down the people named in this story who are devising this insipid conspiracy and find out what's going on. We can't leave it to one set of reporters from one outlet. It needs to be an absolute blitz on these fascists. Follow me on social media. We can talk about it there. I'm at Dollemore, just about everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Dollemore. And if you appreciate what I do, if I bring you some value on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, even occasionally, if I say something that you appreciate, please consider supporting my work here on the platform. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or you can click on over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for your passion and your organizing and your interest in saving this country. I see you. Be genuine. Take care of one another.